It's time to talk about your money, and first we're going to get a weekly stock market recap. S&P 500 down about a percentage point. NASDAQ is up about a percentage point, and the Dow Jones Industrial Average down nearly 3 percentage points. There are some new reports out today that show that holiday shopping wasn't as successful as originally hoped. The retail sales report for December that just came out showed that retail sales fell just over 1%. That's the largest monthly decline for all of last year. Joining us, of course, is Mark Grywacheski. It's nice to have you back in the studio.
You know what? It's great to be back here in the studio with all my WQAD peeps. You know, it's been a while, but again, great to be back here.
Absolutely. So talk to us a little bit about what was in this report that's maybe surprised you.
Yeah, well, this latest batch of retail sales numbers certainly wasn't what Wall Street was hoping for.
Right.
In December, retail sales fell by 1.1%. As you just pointed out, it was the largest monthly decline for retail sales in all of 2022. But also, that report showed that in November, November's retail sales were revised lower to reflect a monthly decline of 1%. And David, if we were to expand this timeline down a little bit lower, it showed that retail sales actually fell in 3 of the last 4 months of the year. And obviously, with November and December, retailers obviously are looking for that, you know, a big surge in retail sales to really capture that November, December holiday shopping season.
Well, and with all these, you know, expected record-setting sales and things like that, how are, you know, if we're having that, how do you also show negative for monthly retail sales?
There was a lot of, you know, initial data showing that, you know, hey, this is going to be a great holiday shopping season. But Wall Street has always cautioned about trying to, you know, take a, you know, analyzing that ultimate outcome for the retail holiday shopping season. Wall Street has always argued that November, December holiday shopping season, it's more of a marathon than a sprint. We saw something very similar back in 2018, where we also saw this initial surge in retail sales during that 5-day Thanksgiving shopping weekend, which obviously starts on Thanksgiving, includes Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, and carries forward all the way to Cyber Monday, to have that initial surge, but then to have sales literally fall off of a cliff for the rest of the year. And that conveys that consumers were willing to spend their money, but only on those heavily discounted items that we typically associate with those big, heavy shopping days like Black Friday or Cyber Monday, but without those big discounts and promotions. Consumers were fairly hesitant to spend their money this shopping season.
Well, in the areas that you didn't see, the discounted areas, we really saw a ton of inflation. So how has that played into this?
Inflation, I think, is one of many factors that either individually or collectively, I think, is really starting to weigh on consumer sentiment. David, if we were to just kind of take a step back for a second and think of all of the challenges and obstacles that consumers are facing right now, think about it. High inflation, rising interest rates, a very uncertain outlook on the U.S. economy. Does the economy go into a recession, and if so, to what extent? Will it be short and mild? Will it be longer and much more severe? Obviously, we see a tremendous volatility in the U.S. stock market that consumers are dealing with. And optimistic and confident consumers tend to spend their money more freely. And as this latest batch of retail sales data shows, consumers were hesitant to spend their money unless it was on those heavily discounted items.
And to put you on the spot a little bit here, you know, with inflation and with some people maybe struggling, maybe people that aren't confident and can't really combat the rising costs as much as others, what would you suggest for the rest of this year? I know you've kind of said hold on to your money a little bit, but we're seeing a lot of volatility on the stock market. You know, what changes should we be making?
My number one thought would be careful about those big purchases. Obviously, with inflation, rising interest rates, but more importantly, that uncertain outlook for the U.S. economy. To what extent does that impact the labor market?
Right.
If you're going to make a big purchase, really evaluate your susceptibility, you know, to become unemployed if the economy does go into some type of recession.
All right, Mark, thank you so much for joining us, as always, with your excellent expertise.
Great to be live in the studio again.
Absolutely.